Welcome back, and thanks for stopping in with Justice with Ken. Today, we're going to talk about a settlement offer that I received. So, I had a talk with them, and I told them, I said, I think it would be cost efficient for the company to go ahead and fix the car. Because if you don't fix the car, the minute I sue you, it's going to cost you twice because it's going to cost you to pay the lawyer and it's going to cost you to pay me. So why don't we just alleviate all that? And so they took a defiant stance. They weren't going to do it. And so oh man, I guess it went two, three months, close to four, where we were hemming and hawing, going back and forth. And then you know, we started negotiating. And so we started at 4,000, then went to 5,000, then we went to 6,000. And then they gave me what they considered the final offer that they want to give me. They gave me $7,500 offer as a pro se litigant. Just so you'll know, I believe that $7,500 to $10,000 is the top dollar that they're going to give you as a pro se litigant. Anything more than that, they will not give you a penny more, and then they're going to make you earn that money. Now, with an attorney, it's going to be much more, but with a pro se litigant, I think $10,000 is top. So if you can get a $10,000 offer, you're doing great. And sometimes you can accept that offer. So they went ghost. They went silent, and they didn't say anything more. So I called an attorney that I had spoken with before. And he said that he told me to give them my card, give them his card, which I did. And then they got into negotiation. So after I had been talking to this attorney for a couple of months, I mean, after I had been talking with the attorney, he called me back a couple of days later, and he says, "Hey, so I just spoke with them, and how would you feel if I was able to get you $10,000?" I'm like, $10,000? I said, the car has been sitting for 3 months. I said, that wouldn't be worth it. He like, uh, anyway, I said, I told you I was in a negotiation with him anyway. They offered me $7,500. You mean you're only worth $2,500 more? And so the attorney looked at me and he said, well, he didn't look at me. We were on the phone. He said, well, okay, well, come on into my office and then we'll bring the paperwork that you have. So when I brought the paperwork that I had, and I submitted it to him, he was like, okay. He said, you really do have a claim. I like, yes, sir. I said, I don't go looking for trouble, but if you owe me or you didn't do something that you were supposed to do, there's a chance that I am going to do what I'm supposed to do. He says, okay, well, let me get back with him. So another couple of weeks passed, and then they offered 12, then they went to 14, and then they hit their max number, 16.5. And I said, well, I didn't really want to settle for that. And I told him I didn't want to settle for that. He says, I think this will be the easiest and the best way possible. So why don't we go ahead and do that? So I took that as a settlement offer. So I signed a gag order and I actually received the $16,500. So that was it. It wasn't that hard. It was just the point of being patient, being due diligent, and being persistent. Every now and then you may have to get an attorney in who acts as the mouthpiece. When he's acting as a mouthpiece, he is essentially spreading the message for you from his side. So now, if what you didn't know yesterday, you know today. Thanks for stopping in with Justice Ken, and I'll talk to you soon.